Hello and welcome. So we now have clearance levels in our app so that we can guard some of our API endpoints, and we could guard and secure some of our data with secure as well. So we're able to secure to make sure that the person is logged in. And if they are logged in, we could even check their clearance level, see if they could check this data out or not. But now we have to worry about people injecting their own clearance level in when they make an account through sign up. So what we want to do there is exports.blacklist. So let's do blacklist like that, like it's two words. We'll do the same type of format that we did above here, but instead of writing blacklist as all the inputs, I'm actually just going to write inputs just to make the point that it can be anything. It does not have to be clearance level. This is going to be blacklist inputs. That's just fine. And we'll follow the same return, the request response next. So return rec res next. And start our function up with a big fat arrow. So what we get into this is going to be the request.body, and we know that that's an object that used to hold our email and password. We're worried that it will hold email, password, and clearance. So let's just take that off of the request. We'll destructure it like we've destructured several times throughout this. Destructure body from request. Cool. Now we have access to request.body by just typing body. And since we're about to do a for loop, that might be a little simpler for us. I have to console.log body. So we want to see what happens before, what the body looks like before our blacklist function and after it. So here's the body before the function, and let's do the function. We need to let body props. This is just going to make the function easier for us to read. So let body props, and then we'll start our for loop for let props in inputs. Now, inputs is going to be an array. So letting props in inputs, it means let 0, 1, 2, 3, for however many things are in that array, because they all have a number access to them starting at 0. So we'll let props in inputs, but what we'll want to say is body props equals inputs props. Oh, I'm sorry, prop. We should let prop in inputs. That seems a little better to me. Okay, so if we let prop in inputs, we'll have body props equaling inputs at each prop. So when each prop is 0, 1, 2, 3, its location in the array, when we say inputs at 0, we're going to get the value of the first thing in the array. And this just makes it easier. Hey, I want the value. I don't want 0, 1, 2, 3. We're saying here the value of 0, 1, 2, 3 rather than 0, 1, 2, 3. And after that, if body, remember where we got body from, request.body, body props. So if the body has the property that body props is holding, so if our input at prop 0 is clearance, this says, does body.clearance exist? So if body.clearance exists, what we want it to do is delete body props. So we want it to delete body.clearance. So it's really that simple. It seems like a lot because we've used quite a bit of destructuring to get ourselves down to here, and we're inside a for loop. But just read this through a few times, rewind it if you have to go through it a couple more times, really understand what's going on here. This is just a for loop making sure that the body, the request.body, oh, I made a mistake up here. If you're following along, and not fully request, just REQ, the request.body does not contain any of the inputs up here. So that's what we did with this for loop. So what are we going to do after the for loop? We want to come back up and go after the for loop, console.log. Let's do request.body because it is exactly the same thing as body props. And I put it in the wrong spot again. I was right the first time. There we go. And now after that, we have to call next or it'll get stuck in here and go nowhere. So next as a function. Okay, so just like we did on clearance level, we need to put this before the routes that we want to protect. And the routes that we want to protect from our blacklist, at least right now, are all of our routes. So I want to put this in the server JS rather than just ahead of certain routes. I'm going to put it ahead of all the routes in the server itself. So head over to your server, and we need to import the auth controller. Let's do that first. Const auth controller will equal require, and then we just have to find it. It should be ./controller/auth controller. Perfect. Now in there we have something called blacklist. Yep, exports blacklist. So let's go down. Now we need to be below the parsers, so we have access to the body, and we need to be above the routes. So this happens before we hit the route. So this is where we need to be. I'll give it some space, so app.use. And auth controller dot blacklist, and we're just going to pass one thing in here. The one thing we'll pass in is clearance. So if clearance is put in any body trying to hit our server, trying to hit our endpoint, it's going to be removed from our server before we even hit our routes. We don't have to worry about it getting into our database whatsoever. So that should work correctly. We'll save that up. And now I need to make something on the front end to test this. We could be testing through some testing softwares that are great, and I can recommend if you want to use them. I would use Postman. I really like Postman a lot, but I wanted to keep this as much inside the box as possible. So let's go to the front end and actually do some changes to the code to do a test, which usually isn't the best way to do it, but this is good for what we're looking to do. Auth.js. What we want to pass is what we want to reject. So we want to pass something called clearance. I'm just going to copy that. Now in auth.js, in signup user, I am passing a body, which is right here. So we'll also want to pass clearance. Now what is clearance? We're going to need to define that. So const clearance equals, how about this person wants to come in as the admin and destroy your whole website. Okay, so clearance is going to equal admin. So now there's going to be a clearance in the body when we try to sign up a user, and it should result in the user being an admin, but our middleware that we made, our blacklist middleware, should not let that happen. So we'll try sign up user, but we have to make sure on submit sign up user. Yep, we got to pass it in there. Clearance. So clearance is in 3 places. I defined clearance up above everything. I defined const clearance. Below that, I put in, oh, it should be in 4 places. Good thing we went over that. Clearance. Perfect. Below that, I put it in the sign up in the arguments passed. It's going to be clearance, and it's going to pass it to the body here, clearance. Now there's only one more place you have to put it in order for it to work properly right now. On submit, if register, sign up user, email, password, clearance. Okay, so we're definitely passing clearance, and we're definitely passing admin the next time that we try to sign someone up. So let's do that and see what happens in our auth controller. I'm going to build out all my dependencies. First, I will cd to the client, I will yarn there, I will yarn in the server side, I'll wait for that to build. All right, let's start everything up with yarn run dev, and that should start us all up. Here we are. So I have user 2 and user 3. So let's make user 1 at user.com, and we'll make a password of password again. All right, so everything went through and we did sign up. Let's see now if this user has a clearance level, user 1, level of 1. So what happened to the clearance level? We had the body console logged here before it hit our function. There it is. And after it hit our function, it is gone. That's exactly what we wanted to get out of this one. Thanks for being with me on this one. You did a great job, and follow me to the next one. We have a couple more things to do just to make sure we round out this project, and we could use it on all of our projects that need authentication. I'll see you soon.